Good evening. On behalf of Vocal Arts DC, I am so happy to see this crowd in front of me, and especially all these young people over here. We just are delighted that you are here. About 500 feet above your head in the Terrace Theater, Vocal Arts DC presents every year 6 recitals using some of the world's most renowned artists. And these are recitals of art song. So, exactly what is an art song? Simplest definition, it is a poem set to music. Now, I can almost tell you what it is better by telling you what it is not. It is not an opera. There are no costumes. There is no scenery. There is no orchestra. There is one singer and one accompanying instrument, usually a piano. And this is where we think the fun begins. Every 3 or 4 minutes, that singer and that pianist must tell you a different story. Different character, young, old, happy, unhappy, disgusted, angry, in love. Most of them are about being in love. And the only tools that they have to do this are the voice and the way they use it and the way the pianist plays. Tonight we have 2 amazing singers, Heather Bingham, soprano, and Jeffrey Gates, baritone, and Dr. Timothy Mcreynolds from the University of Maryland. We would just ask one little thing. In your program, you see that the music is divided into sets. If you could withhold your applause until the end of a set, that would be lovely. And then at the end of the set, if you would like to go slightly crazy with applause, we would love that too. We decided tonight to start with 2 songs by Hugo Wolfe, one very different from the other. Wolfe was fascinated by the mystical, by the fantastic. He loved poetry about legends. And this song is more of an incantation than it is just a simple poem, where the goddess Velas is singing about her beautiful island home, the mythical island of Orplid. Now, do a 180. These singers really have to be flexible. We all know that artists hate critics. And this song is about a critic who visits a poet. And the visit ends with the poet kicking the critic down the steps. Obviously, the meeting did not go well. And you're going to hear in the piano what Tim plays at the end of the song. It kind of sounds like a drunken, tipsy Viennese waltz, but it's really the critic being made to go down the stairs. Now, Wolfe's music in his day was a bit scandalous. Probably you're not going to go out humming this. As a matter of fact, Hugo Wolfe once sent a little note to the great composer Johannes Brahms, and he said, could you take a look at this song, and if you see something you don't like, could you just put a cross by it? And Brahms returned the score, nothing on it, saying, I did not want to make a cemetery of your composition. Enjoy.
Du bist Orplid. Unangeklopft ein Herr tritt abends bei mir ein. Ich habe die Ehre, der Rezensent zu sein. Sofort nimmt ihr das Licht in die Hand, besieht lang meinen Schatten an der Wand, rückt nah und fern. Nun, lieber junger Mann, sehen Sie doch gefälligst mal in den Hasen von der Seite an. Sie geben zu, dass das ein Auswuchs ist, das Allwetter Köfis. Ei, Hasel, ich dachte nicht, all mein Lebtage nicht, dass ich so eine Felsnase fehlt im Gesicht. Der Mann sprach noch Verschiedenes hin und her. Ich weiß auf meine Ehre nicht mehr. Meinte vielleicht, ich sollt ihm beichten. Zuletzt stand er auf, ich tat ihm leuchten. Wie wir nun an der Treppe sind, da geb ich ihm ganz froh gesinnt einen kleinen Tritt, nur so von hinten ausgesessen mit. Allhagel, fand das ein Geruppel, ein Geputzel, ein Gehuppel. Dergleichen hab ich nie gesehen, all mein Lebtage nicht gesehen. Einen Menschen so rasch die Treppe hinabgehen.
Well, Jeffrey certainly has a gorgeous voice, but as you can see, it's not enough just to have a gorgeous voice. You have to be able to say something with it. You have to be able to act, and you certainly have to know what you are singing about. So that's why we've given you all translations. Our soprano, Heather Bingham, is singing music that I think is ideally suited to her voice, elegant, passionate, sensual, the music of Jules Massenet. A critic once said, "This is music which makes you want to fall in love." Now, Massenet was a very clever guy. He decided, who is the best singer of the day? And I am going to write music for that singer's voice, which made him extremely popular. But sometimes the other composers envied him. Gabriel Fauré, great composer of the day, wrote in the letter to his wife, he referred to Massenet's vulgar, impassioned whinings. Massenet laughed all the way to the bank. Another critic stated very defensively, "Sometimes I wonder if Massenet's music is too gorgeous for its own good. I love him for his suave melodies, the intimacy of his characters, and the cultured elegance of his music. It goes down mighty smooth. What's not to like?" In 1932, Maurice Ravel, French composer, accepted a commission to write a set of songs about the great legendary figure Don Quixote. And he chose a poet who believed that the exploits of this rather bumbling but heroic man had something to say about the state of contemporary political society. Nobility unjustly victimized, heroes seeking redemption, the idea that individuals can be right while society can be wrong. And I leave it to you to choose for your comparison your favorite politician. Unfortunately, due to declining health, these songs were composed too slowly, and they chose somebody else's songs for the movie. They're not nearly as good, actually. And these songs were the last things that Ravel wrote before he died. Glorious settings, especially the last one, where the singer is absolutely drunk. These songs are going to be followed by two by the wonderful Russian composer Sergey Brokemoninoff. He was 6'4", tall, imperious, impatient, opinionated, described by his colleagues as a walking scowl. He drove sports cars. He ate caviar 3 times a day. He was a hedonist of the first order. And boy, was he a pianist, an amazing pianist. Part of it was due, however, to physiology. Pianists out there, he had a handspan of 13 keys, and he wrote for every other pianist as though they had the same Hands band. Tim.
I have 13. Oh, I'm sorry. I have 10.
10. So you have to kind of, plan B, right? Okay. So given this kind of impatient, horrible personality he had, it's funny that he could write some of the most glorious, lovely, loving music that has ever been written. Now, one thing about Rachmaninoff, if you can't sing high and softly at the same time, you can't sing Rachmaninoff. And I think you know by now that we have a soprano that can really do that. These two songs, both of them are laments. The first one is somebody looking at his lover's cold face and wondering, how can I turn that coldness into passion? The second one is very different. It is a soldier's wife with her child in front of her, and her husband is away at war, and she is lamenting the fact that she is alone and that she fears she will never see him again. My goodness, some things never change, do they?
Si vous me disiez que la terre a tant tourné vous offensa, je lui dépêcherai pour ça. Vous la verriez fixer ce terre. Si vous me disiez que la nuit vous vient des ciels trop fleuris d'astres, déchirant les divins cadastres, je faucherai d'un coup la nuit. Si vous me disiez que l'espace ainsi vidé ne vous plaît point, chevalier Dieu, la lance au poing, j'étoilerai le vent qui passe. Mais si vous disiez que mon sang est plus à moi qu'à vous, madame, je blêmirai dessous le blâme, et je mourrai vous bénissant. Oh, Saint-Michel qui me donnait loisir de voir ma dame et de l'entendre. Ô Saint-Michel qui me daignait choisir pour lui combler la défendre. Ô Saint-Michel, veuillez descendre avec Saint-Georges sur l'autel de la Madone au bleu autel. ciel, bénissez ma love, et soni galopirete, et soni galopirete, como pidere chastity. Saint-Georges, Saint-Michel, l'ange qui veille sur ma veille, ma douce dame, si pareil à vous m'attend au bleu mortel. Amen. Foi di bataille, illustre dame, qui pour me perdre à vos douze yeux, dit que l'amour il veut mieux, maintenant dans mon cœur, mon âme. Je bois à la joie est le seul but où je vais droit, lorsque j'ai bu à la joie, la la la, je bois à la joie. Foi ni jaloux, brûle maîtresse, qui pleure et fait serment d'être toujours ce bel amant qui met de l'eau dans son ivresse. Je bois à la joie est le seul but où je vais droit, lorsque j'ai bu à la joie, la la la, je bois à la joie.
John Musto is certainly one of the most important art song composers in the world today. The New York Times stated, his music is exquisite and exploratory, with the smoky nonchalance of Scott Joplin. Ensconced in a Rachmaninoff glow, ferociously clever, John Musto is not afraid to entertain. He was definitely a pianist before he was a composer of songs. In these two songs, however, you are going to hear evidence of the many nights that this man has spent in jazz and blues nightclubs. And even though these two songs are from the same cycle, they are very, very different. Musto composed the first song to honor the memory of a dear deceased friend. And in almost jarring contrast, Recuerdo is a romantic vignette of jazz-age New York. I might add that John Musto's wife is the renowned Metropolitan Opera soprano Amy Burton. Now, when you live with a singer, she does not hesitate to tell you what works and what doesn't work. Honey, leave that in. Oh no, that'll never do, that'll never do. Maybe that's why we like his music so much, because it is so singable, because he lives with somebody who can show him what it takes to sing well. Marvelous combination.
and smelled like a stable. But we looked into a fire, we leaned across a table, we lay on a hilltop underneath a moon, and the whistles kept blowing, and the dawn came soon. We were very tired. We were very merry. We had gone back and forth all night on the ferry. You ate an apple, and I ate a pear. From a dozen of each we had bought somewhere. And the sky went one, and the wind came cold, and the sun rose dripping a bucket full of gold. We were very tired. We were very merry. We had gone back and forth all night on the ferry. We hailed good mother, oh mother, to a shawl-covered head, and bought a morning paper, which neither of us read. And she wept, God bless you, for the apples and pears. And we gave her all our money, but our subway fares.
Ralph Vaughan Williams, a composer to whom we owe a huge debt for preserving and arranging some of the oldest folk songs of the British Isles. And yes, the accompanying instrument can be something other than a piano. In this case, it is unaccompanied violin. I wanted to tell you something about our very special violinist tonight, Mr. Maxson Mulias. He has appeared with the Symphonic Orchestra of Fairfax and has been a soloist at the French Embassy, the Shenandoah Conservatory, and the Interlaken Festival. In addition, he is the winner of the prestigious Henrietta Anderson Memorial Concerto Competition. And one other thing, well, You'll see.
No lady in town above her.
and he is only 10 years old and studies piano with our soprano. Oh my goodness, some people just have it all, don't they? Well, that statement can certainly apply to our next composer, Mr. Paul Bowles. He's been described as American art song's best-kept secret, a homespun composer of witty, jazzy songs. He is also Paul Bowles, the best-selling author of The Sheltering Sky. He is a master at dark, brooding works of fiction. Now, eventually, he gave up musical composition in order to write books, but not before he wrote these wonderful Blue Mountain ballads. You're going to hear 3 of them. He was fascinated with the poetry of Tennessee Williams, fascinated with the South. And the music is really part blues, part ragtime, and part out-and-out honky-tonk.
My chair rocks by the door all day, but nobody ever stops my way. Nobody ever stops by my way. My teeth chaw on an old ham bone, and I do the dishes all alone. I do the dishes all by my own. My feet clop on the hardwood floor, 'cause I won't buy love at the hardware store. I don't want love from the mercantile store. Now the clock tick-tocks by my single bed, while the moon looks down at my sleepless head. In a shaker, bread that's waiting for the baker. I'm sweet sugar in the cane, never touched except by rain. If you touched me, God save you, these summer days are hot and blue. from a check that ain't been cashed. I'm a window with a blind, can't see what goes on behind. If you did, God save your soul, these winter nights are blue and cold.
I wish you could have seen us backstage. We're all back there going, yes, yes. You just can't ignore it. Our final group of English song features two selections by one of the brightest and best art song composers in the U.S. today, Lori Leitman. And she is local. She lives in Potomac when she is not following performances of her music all over the world. I personally believe that Song, the first one, is one of the most gorgeous songs ever written for the soprano voice. And the second one, well, students, now as you listen to this, how old do you think this singer is? Remembering that Emily Dickinson was probably an unbelievably precocious kid. We were all debating that backstage. Our last song is a great old-timer. If you look on YouTube, you will see that it has been recorded by Jane Powell in 1948. She stands there replete in a pink puffball dress, singing to Frank Sinatra, who has been stuffed into a Mexican army officer's uniform. He's got whiskers down to here, looking totally ridiculous. And the second time it was recorded was the Everly Brothers in all of their harmonious nasal glory. We thought it would be a wonderful way to end the recital. I simply want to thank you so much for coming out to hear us sing on this beautiful day. You're a wonderful audience, and I'm just so pleased to see all the youngsters in the audience. Hopefully someday we will see you upstairs at one of the Terrace Theater concerts. Thank you so very much.
I'll let my hedges be in sight.
different ways that one may phrase the changing light and changing shade, happiness that must die, melodies that must fly, memories that must fade, dusty and forgotten by and by.
Learning scales will never seem so sweet again, till our destinies shall let us meet again. The will of fate become too late when I
has been is past forgetting.
This sweet memory across the years will come to me. Though my path may go awry,
In my heart will ever lie.